Yay!
Yay, we're live.
Hooray.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A little bit to see, more people on here. But we'll get started here in just a second. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Almost Friday.
Great.
Making it through. All right. Let's start here. So we want to talk to you guys. By the way, I'm Lydia Camarillo, Good Morning Tucson, one of the Good Morning Tucson anchors. So welcome. Nice to see you guys.
And I'm EJ Jimenez. I'm the executive producer of Good Morning Tucson. So normally I'm behind the camera.
You're doing a lot behind the camera. We love EJ. All right. We want to talk to you guys. Very important conversation. And we're so glad that our company, so of course, we're KGUN 9, but our company Scripps is taking part in this. So it's National News Literacy Week. It goes till tomorrow. And this pretty much kind of sums up what we're dealing with today when it comes to where, you see your own news on social media. We see a lot of misinformation, fake news, and conspiracy theories. So right now in this week, there's public awareness that we want to bring to our community to, find different ways to be better news consumers, what we need to be looking out for, and how we can all kind of play a big part in this. And this is all part of a bigger project, the News Literacy Project that our company is taking part in. So we want to start those kind of conversations. Very important nowadays, before we retweet, like, or share, to really check to see where this information is coming from. Because as we've seen, this can be very dangerous, spreading misinformation nowadays. So I'm so glad that the company is taking part in this, and we want to hear from you guys as well on what's going on in your world. Where are you seeing your information? What happens on social media when you're just kind of taking in all that information on there? Very, very important.
Right. And something to add to that, Lydia, like you were saying, like it doesn't necessarily sure, we're all involved in politics and COVID, like big important information, but that's not necessarily all that misinformation is focused on. You can have different things, like later on we're going to get to something else that kind of tripped me up and tripped Lydia up, and like we learned some things this morning about like things that are in pop culture even, and like entertainment news. So that's also like misinformation.
Yes, I didn't really think of it, right? Because you're kind of get into like the politics, especially, and things with COVID-19, but it's just like, things that we've heard in the past that you associate with something, and it may have not been that. It's very, very interesting. And there's that quiz online right now on kgun9.com, and we're going to get a little deeper into that here in just a second. And also later on, after we see a story from one of our sister stations, we're going to be talking about the project that we're taking part in right now with some local students here in Tucson. So we've been working with a journalism class at Ironwood Ridge High School and working with them through National News Literacy Week. So for a few weeks ahead of this week, we've been talking to them about this and, trying to put a story together for air and our web on misinformation, what our students seen, and what they think about it. They did a great job. They worked really hard putting the story together. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Right. But right now we're going to watch, again, like this is all over the country, like across all Scripps stations from our parent company that's doing this. And so one of our sister stations in San Diego, ABC 10, did a story that kind of gives an overview of news literacy and kind of like what this project's about in a fun way. And they asked 6 people, random people, about just random questions. So we have that for you right now.
To start, we gave 6 people a quiz over Zoom to see how good they were at sorting facts from fiction. We told them there were no rules and they could check anything before answering. Question 1, finish this iconic film quote, blank, I am your father.
That one's pretty famous. It's Luke, I am your father.
Luke.
No, I messed it up.
The quiz was developed by the News Literacy Project, a nonpartisan national education nonprofit.
You think immediately you know the answer. but you don't take a step back to verify that you know it to be true.
Question 2. In the original animated Snow White, which phrase activates the Queen's mirror?
I think it's A, mirror, mirror on the wall, but that seems to be too easy of an answer.
I'm going to not use the resources available to me, aka the internet, and take a wild guess.
That's one of the biggest problems that we're dealing with connecting to misinformation. Misinformation wants us to react out of an emotional response without verifying information, without thinking about it.
The News Literacy Project has been teaching people to spot misinformation since 2008, when the group was founded by a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist named Alan C. Miller. They primarily work with teachers and high school students through in-person trainings, a podcast, an app, and their main tool, an online classroom called Checkology that became free for everyone this year.
Students need to learn how to be able to evaluate and verify information for themselves. It's really about understanding how to take a step back, the right questions to ask, and the right ways of using verification tools to figure out what's authentic and what's not.
They try to drive home the points that posts can be misleading, pictures can be manipulated, and you should check information against credible sources. Those are places that follow standards and hold themselves accountable. In 2018, ABC News suspended longtime investigative reporter Brian Ross after he got facts wrong. He later resigned. Our quiz testants eventually got the idea.
Okay.
All right, I need to phone Google here.
It looks like you Googled it,
I did.
which is exactly what you're supposed to do.
We all probably don't know as much as we think we do. And always double check.
Yeah, so definitely some questions that I'm new to Star Wars, I have to admit. So the whole like Luke, I am your father. I kind of knew that because I just recently started watching the movies and everything. So I was like, oh, I've always heard it, even though like I never watched Star Wars, I'd always heard it. So I was like, oh, well, I guess now I know what really happened. He said, no, I am your father. So
Yeah, that tripped me up too. We were talking about it. We took the quiz, did not get perfect scores. Yeah, so on our website right now where you can kind of test out your knowledge. The one that was interesting that I did Google and what popped up on Google was wrong. The test told me was that I made the internet. Who said that? And a lot of people think that Al Gore made those comments, and it popped up on Google saying that he did somewhere on Google, but it was at the top. And then, the test tells you, no one actually ever made that claim.
Yeah, which kind of goes to show, that even like just a quick Google search, the misinformation is out there. So I know like for us journalists, we normally try and get more than one confirmation when it comes to anything. So like at least 2, but 3 is like a good go-to number because that means that, it's been vetted kind of by like 3 different sources. So I know that that's something that I have, like, whenever I look for like the celebrity gossips, this and that, it's like, oh, is that really true? I read it on a magazine. So
You can definitely see that, especially with entertainment news. But now that's definitely been more with politics and COVID-19, some serious topics, and that becomes a serious problem. And we definitely want to start that conversation through not just this week, of course. This is something nowadays that is so crucial to double check where you're getting your information from and understand when you are getting your information from an opinion website or a particular political website, to understand that's where it's coming from and the views of that source as well. There was some of the packages that we've been running this week, there was an interesting point made in one of them saying that, we folks tend to, if they don't like the news, claim it as fake news. And it's a lot of, opinion put into that. So that gets a little bit, foggy with the facts. Sometimes a lot of opinion is thrown in there.
right. And I know that like with that, we were kind of, when we were working with the Ironwood students, Lydia started off the project with them, and then I came on board to help as well. That's like one thing that we kind of had to tell them is that, you know, it's not just about what you read and everything like that. Like we recently, like a new study came out just this month from Pew Research that was saying that a majority of people get their information from Facebook, which I mean, I get mine too. We post on, like right now we're on, live on Facebook as well as like YouTube. So it's that's just what's at our fingertips. So Lydia has a lot to say about Ironwood, and I loved absolutely working with them. So that was so much fun to be able to get to see their perspective on different things.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we got your perspective, EJ. You know, it's a lot of behind the scenes work when it comes to what you see on air. So, you know, EJ's our morning executive producer. Having her insight as well, you know, was very helpful for the students. And it was just very interesting. So what we did was we reached out to the community. We ended up with Ironwood Ridge High School, Mr. Howell's journalism class, and his students. Now, important to note, they are all remote. Yeah, so we were doing this, you know, tuning in to their Zoom classes, and they were working very hard to try to make this possible as well, getting approval to do certain things for these stories as we're social distancing and staying safe. And that's something we have to deal with as we continue to gather our stories, is that. So they got a kind of, you know, that real life taste of what it's like putting a story for air. And you're going to see that story and see all their hard work. You're going to be able to see it tomorrow on Good Morning Tucson in our 6 o'clock hour. So we're very excited to talk a little bit more about it too tomorrow morning and show you what they were able to put together despite all the challenges that we're facing today when it comes to remote learning. They took it on. They worked really hard. They're finishing up their web story as we speak as well. So we're going to have all that ready for you tomorrow. And it was just so interesting hearing, you know, from students nowadays who are learning about journalism, who might be considering going into this career, and comparing it to my experiences. We didn't talk that much about, you know, misinformation because it wasn't being spread as quickly as it is now when I was in school.
Right. And then like for with me in college too, you know, again, it wasn't really mentioned when it came to social media and everything like that, because I'm not necessarily, social media was a big part of our lives at that point, but it wasn't where you got the news. If you wanted to get the news, it was like you go to whatever news station was in your town, city, home, wherever, and that's how you got your news. And it's just, especially around political season, is when I see like a bunch of ads of like different candidates who are running, you know, vote for this person, vote for that person. So it's been over, I think, the past couple of years that I've seen social media definitely play a big part in how I look at news. And me as a journalist, it's my job to make sure that everything is accurate and that we get it right, because that's what matters. And seeing it as a headline is not that doesn't cut it, because we needed to get it from, like, basically, if Pima County Sheriff's Department says it, we need to get it from them, Tucson Police. Right now, we're talking a lot with the health department because of COVID, the state health department. There's so many officials that we need to get the sources from and or the information from, and that's what's most important.
Yes, it's so important nowadays, like we were mentioning. And that's a great example, you know, triple checking everything that comes in. I'll take, you know, comments from you guys, from our viewers, and I'll check to see where those sources are coming from, where that information is coming from, and just, you know, see what kind of misinformation, fake news, conspiracy theories are out there. Right now on KGUN9.com at the very top of our website, you can see some more information. You can take that quiz. You can see, you know, where you're at when it comes to how you're consuming news. I'm seeing some of the comments come in here right now. Thank you guys, for tuning in and watching and commenting right now. Love seeing you guys and being able to talk to you. If you guys have any questions right now too, when it comes to news literacy, what do you think about it? How do you check to make sure that this isn't just fake news, misinformation? What do we all need to do to make sure that we can stop the spread of misinformation and really educate ourselves in the world that we live in now, which, social media, that's the first thing that we probably look at when we wake up. So that's why it was really important to bring in local students this year, Ironwood Ridge High School. To kind of talk to them about it too, to remind them about a few things that we always see, since we're doing this every day, checking the stories that come in. But what about people who aren't, in this profession, making sure that we're letting everyone know what tools you need to make sure, like we mentioned, Googling something, boom, misinformation right there. The quiz showed us. So important to triple check everything all the time. But yeah, I'm just kind of going through the comments right now. This is something that's only in its second year that our company Scripps is doing. And of course, we hope to be able to continue and next year have other schools take part as well. But the students worked really hard. We are so proud of them, right, EJ? We watched their story yesterday.
Shout out to that journalism class. Like, you guys did great. It was nice getting to work with you, talk with you, answer questions, and just, it was a different setting, of course, because we had, they were all on Zoom, which obviously I've never been in like a Zoom class like that, but it was just great to be able to talk with them and listen and get to see a new perspective of what they go through on a daily basis.
Yeah, you saw that picture there. That's how we checked in with them numerous times throughout the process, figuring out, how do we get video during these times? So they worked really hard on this. We are so excited to show you. Please tune in tomorrow morning. Good morning, Tucson. We're on from 4:30 to 7. You can catch the story in the 6 o'clock hour. We're going to be talking a little bit more, giving you guys the web story as well on KGUN9.com. We hope that you check it out. Mr. Howells, journalism class from Ironwood Ridge High School. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you bright and early at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, have a great Thursday. Bye.
Bye.